welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Conahey Rail. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So, what did Dakman get for Christmas? Well, believe it or not, Dakman got a Lionel Legacy steam locomotive. What? Yeah, I actually got a Lionel Legacy Central New Jersey Camelback steam locomotive. This is the very first steam locomotive on Conahey Rail. So that I bought. There's been guests who have run steam here. I've had a couple guests bring steam locomotives, but this is the very first one that I actually bought for Conahey Rail. So what made me get this? Because everybody knows I'm a diesel guy. Not that there's anything wrong with steam. I just want to put that out. I don't hate steam. I have respect for steam locomotives, but I'm a diesel mechanic, so I can relate better to diesel locomotives, and I always like the diesel locomotives. I'm more familiar with them, the parts on them. Everything is, I can just relate to them. But yeah, I'll still go to rail fan spots and watch steam locomotives, and if I had a chance, I would get on one and ride in the cab or whatever have you. I have nothing against them. So, what inspired this purchase is that my town in South Jersey, which is where I live, was a big, had a big presence of Central New Jersey in it. We had CNJ, Central New Jersey, PRSL, Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Lines. Then we had Reading. Then we had Pennsylvania. All four of those railroads ran through my town. Unfortunately, a lot of railroad history has disappeared from my town. My town was one of the top 10 most industrialized cities, and unfortunately, you know, that was in the 50s, but today it's nowhere near that. And there's so much history in this town that's disappeared. It's such a shame. There was, and we'll go over that later, but there was a Central New Jersey station, passenger station, as well as a freight station in town. Both of those are long gone. There is one passenger station left that's been converted into a tourist center, but that is not a CNJ passenger station. I believe it was a PRSL station. But at any rate, so that's what's driven me to this purchase of this Lionel Legacy. So, CNJ. Now, this is not the Blue Comet. If that's your thing, Blue Comet is a fantasy paint scheme that they also offered. So I didn't go for that because I wanted the actual black number 774 CNJ locomotive, the one that was prototypical. So I try to run prototypical most of the time. I do have a couple fantasy paint schemes on Conahey Rail, but and I've had people ask every time I buy something different or new, they're like, "So you going steam now?" No, I'm not going all steam. I mean, yeah, this is my first steam locomotive. If another one comes out in Central Jersey or CNJ, I would take a look at it and see if it would be another fit. But no, I'm not going to go out all out buying big boys and Challengers and all that other fun stuff, the T1s. Although I would love to have the Lionel Legacy Conrail T1 locomotive. But that was a little too much for me at the time, and I missed out on it, sadly. But it is what it is, and that was totally fantasy. Sort of contradicts what I just say. I don't normally run fantasy, but the difference with that one is that was something that almost really happened. The Conrail getting painted, or the T1 getting painted in Conrail colors was something that was actually in the plans, and artwork was drawn up and all that stuff, but that's for another video. So I picked this up at Hennings. I had pre-ordered it through them when I did their Lionel, well actually I did Hennings Lionel train days, and I actually forgot all about it. And they reminded me, it's like, hey, you forgot this, and then I went back to the store to pick this up. Then they got me onto their the Train Shop Weekly show, and so I did a second show with them, and I got to run the new Lionel Strasburg SW8 that just came in on their layout. I got to show that off on that particular show, so that was cool. So why CNJ? Well, if you remember, I'm a big Conrail fan, and I do like railroads that eventually became Conrail. Now, Central New Jersey was around for a very long time. During the course of the history, CNJ actually went bankrupt 3 different times. The last time being in 1974, and when Conrail was formed in 1976, they got the trackage rights and the use of the name. Conrail got the use of their name in 1976 when they were formed. So it looks like I opened this upside down. So I gotta be very careful right now because I don't want to mess this up. All right. So I'm gonna pull out instructions, and we'll get this unwrapped and we'll go from there. Okay, I got the Lionel Legacy CNJ or Jersey Central Camelback out of the box. I accidentally opened it up upside down, and so I stopped the camera rolling so I could safely get it out of the box from there and onto my layout. Now, I'm not going to do a review on this. I'll just point out some cool things that I like about it, but I'll leave the review to the steam locomotive experts, basically. And I just really love the way this model looks. It's really cool. It's got an actual bell that, I mean, it's not mechanical swinging, but it does swing if you press on it. And I like the white rims on this locomotive. And it's also got the white rims on the tender. I like that part about it. It's got some really neat detail to this. You know, the engineer in there. It's got the lighted firebox on it. On this particular model, according to the instruction booklet, some of these Camelbacks, you can actually change the indication lights to be green or clear. Not sure if you can do that with this particular model. We'll give that a try here later on in the video. So like I said, this is my very first steam locomotive, so now I'm getting kind of excited about it. So why do they call this particular steam locomotive a Camelback? A Camelback has the cab that straddles the boiler in the center rather than being at the end. And I know some people not familiar with these are probably wondering why. So the Camelback was originally designed to run on a Wooten firebox, W-O-O-T-E-N. John E. Wooten developed the Wooten firebox to burn anthracite waste or anthracite coal, which was pretty much almost like a cheap free source of fuel rather than regular coal. However, in order to burn this coal, he made this special firebox, and it was a very, very wide firebox. So if they put the engineers back here, the problem would be the firebox would be so wide they could not see in front of them. So that's why they put it over the boiler instead. However, the unfortunately for the fireman, he still had to be out here, you know, pretty much exposed to the elements, shoveling the anthracite into the to the boiler. By the 20s, many Camelback 10-wheelers with boiler pressure at 200 psi were in daily use, pulling passenger trains on the Lehigh Valley, Philadelphia and Reading, and the Central Railroad of New Jersey, particularly the last two. For the relatively small size, they were powerful, quick to accelerate, very stable at speeds, and could be operated as fast as 90 miles per hour, such as on the Reading's Atlantic City line. Some of these continued into service well into the 50s. However, there was a little safety issue with the Camelback. So if one of these side rods was to break and become separated, it could come up inside a cab and unfortunately kill the engineer, which is probably why you would never see one in operation on excursion service. If you know they were, you would probably never see one restored because of the safety concerns. That's just my 2 cents on that. But at any rate, moving forward, the B&O crews called the Camelbacks snappers in reference to a possible side rod snapping and, you know, flinging into the cab. Many Camelbacks were converted into end cab locomotives. There's a long list of railroads that actually had a Camelback type steam locomotive. Santa Fe, B&O, Canadian Pacific, Central Railroad of New Jersey, Chicago and Eastern Illinois Railroad, Chicago and Indiana Coal Railroad, Choctaw, Oklahoma and Gulf Railroad, Delaware and Hudson, Delaware, Lackawanna and Western, Erie, Hecla and Torch Lake Railroad, Lehigh and Hudson River Valley, Lehigh and New England Railroad, Lehigh Valley Railroad, Long Island Railroad, Maine Central Railroad, Missouri, Kansas, Texas, Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Railroad, New York, Ontario, and Western Railway, New York, Susquehanna, and Western, the Pennsylvania, the Reading, St. Clair Tunnel Company, Staten Island Rapid Transit, Southern Pacific Railroad, Union Pacific, and Wheeling and Lake Erie Railroad. Alright, so many of you know that I normally don't run smoke on any of my locomotives, but they're diesels. And in real life, diesels don't usually put out a lot of smoke unless there's something wrong with them. But, well, heck, this is a steam locomotive. So why buy a steam locomotive if you're not going to run the smoke unit? So that's how I feel. So for this particular locomotive, yes, I will be running the smoke unit. Okay, for those of you who are interested in a model like this, to get the full features and to be able to do all the changes, especially to the classification lights, is they recommend that you run it on the Legacy Cab 2 remote. Now, it will operate conventionally. You can also use the Lion Chief app to operate this. You can use the Lion Chief Universal Remote for this. You can use the Cab 1 TMCC controls. Or you can use a iCab app. So we're going to find out if this has the bipolar light option here in a few seconds. There's some cool features on here. So much to go through. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and listen to some crew talk, some sounds, whistles, and all that fun stuff.
This is the dispatcher. Let's get to work. Out. Dispatcher, error is made. Brake test complete. Are we clear to pull? Over.
Hold your position. Out.
Call in the flagman and let's get going. Timetable only gives us 10 minutes for this stop. I'll tend the fire. Go jump off the tape. Gonna be here a while. Timetable has us holding here for number 9. She's running about 20 minutes late. Safeties are lifting. Ease off the coal till we get a signal. How does the fire look? Burning even. Gonna be running on long if we don't move on soon. Safeties are lifting. Ease off the coal till we get a signal.
I like that one the best. Look at that whistle smoke. So cool. So you can change the actual whistle, and I'm sure you can change the bell too. So I like that bell the best.
My coal's full. Out. Dispatcher, am I cleared to the outbound? Over.
You're cleared outbound. Dispatcher out.
Alright, so suppose you can change the classification light color. So we'll try that using the instructions. So yes, it has bipolar lights. That's cool. I like that. So you enter the menu to do this using aux2 on your Lionel Legacy remote, and then that gives you the option for the lights. So what I did here, if you look at my remote, you'll see the regular menu. To get into the light menu, you're going to take aux2 and hold it. It changes the screen to the light menu. Then you can hit. You can see the lights are green now. But if I hit the cab light, it changes it to white. Hit it again. Changes it to green. And to escape out of that light menu, I'm just going to hit aux2 again. Brings me back to the regular menu. Nice, cool feature. Now I noticed that it came with this, which I figured out was a tool. It really doesn't describe it that well in the book unless I'm looking in the wrong spot. But this is you'll see that it's got a hex built into it. So this is for taking the screw out of your side rod, so you can replace the traction tire later on. Because this does have traction tires on it, and the only way to get to that is to take the screw out and the side rod off. So they do give you the tool for doing that. Alright, so I know people are going to want to see this thing run. So I'm going to set this up with some cars. Right now, I was going to run this as an excursion train, but like I said previously, they would never probably put a Camelback into an excursion service, not with the safety concerns. But I could still run a proper time period, Jersey Central passenger service with this. I could run time period freight with it, such as coal, which was big in my town, coal or mixed freight. There's a lot of possibilities, but when I originally was looking at purchasing this, I was looking to use it for passenger service, which would also be a first on Conahey Rail passengers. Alright, so, but we're going to set this up for freight until I get the money and then find the CNJ passenger cars to go with it. And I'm sure people are going to ask me, Dakman, how come you didn't get the Blue Comet instead? The Blue Comet did not run down to my town that I know of. It was a regular Camelback like this with the green CNJ passenger cars. Okay, I set up a few cars for this demonstration. Also wanted to mention, this is probably the cheapest Lionel Legacy steam locomotive you could buy. And it has been a while since Lionel made the Camelback. I believe it was all the way back when the last one was made as TMCC. So it has been a while since they come back out with the Camelback. Alright, let's give it a run.
This is the dispatcher. Start up and hold. Over.
Okay, let's get to work. Out.
These long waits are brutal. At least the back hit keeps the cough shot. How's the fire look? Burning it. What are your orders?
Says hold here for 2 weeks and then take the main to the next interlocking. Hold the main and we'll hoop orders past the tower.
My coal's full. Out.
southbound. Over.
Hold for signal indication. Dispatcher out.
Dispatcher, error is made. Brake test complete. Are we clear to pull? Over.
Cleared onto the main. Out.
next run. Over.
Very good. Hold for track orders. Out.
Train orders say holding the siding until 44 clears, then we can take the main. You should be through any minute.
Dispatcher, we're done for the day. Out.
Alright, so I can't lie. I had a ton of fun running this. And for those who were wondering, would I buy another steam locomotive? Yeah, I would buy another Jersey Central locomotive later on in life. But once again, I'm a diesel guy, so I'm not going to go out and buy, you know, the Challenger, the Big Boy, the M1A, and the J1A, and all these other steam locomotives. But yeah, this thing was a ton of fun to run. So, a little advice. I thought it would be kind of cool and prototypical to run. And I like this JT's Mega Steam, by the way. So, for those who are wanting to know the best smoke fluid out there, get JT's Mega Steam. It works really well. Don't use, you know, stuff that's not meant for a model train. I see too many people want to use baby oil and 3-1 oil. You spent all this money on your locomotive. Buy the smoke fluid. Don't be cheap. But at any rate, the advice is, I thought it would be neat and prototypical to get coal-fired steam smell for my steam locomotive. And right now, I am wishing that I bought the cotton candy or brownie or some other flavor. So yeah, I mean, it's not a great smell. So I like the JT Mega Steam. It's just that the coal fired was a little much for me. So my next, you know, one, I'll probably get cotton candy, bubble gum, or something that smells really good. But at any rate, thanks for sticking with me throughout this video for my first ever steam locomotive on Conahey Rail. And catch you guys next video, or out at a train show, or some hobby shop. You never know where Dakman Production is going to be. See you guys later. Bye.